Hello and welcome to Flippin' Through, the internet's #1 Mad Magazine news, review, and interview channel. And today we're flipping through Mad Magazine number, 229, released March 1982. Our price, 90 cents, which is indeed cheap. But before we do that, please let me remind you to hit like, hit subscribe, and leave a comment down below. That's the #1 way that you can support this channel. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I can't do that without your support. We're getting closer and closer each and every day. Now, last week, I had one of my most successful videos in like a 3-day period, over 1,000 subscribers, and it's the one where my microphone cut out. So what does that say? You can expect a precipitous drop in viewership with my working microphone today. If you want to support me in another way, aside from hitting like, hitting subscribe, and leaving a comment down below, you can go to patreon.com/flippinthrough. The link is down there in the description. What do you get? What do you get? Well, you will get, no matter what level, a sick set of stickers. You also will get an awesome set of the Mad Signature buttons, and they're finally ready. This is going to be like a limited edition type thing. You will be getting, you can get this, the Flip the Bird lino print that I did. I've been showing off that for a while, but now I finally have the little cards and then the sleeves to put it in, so it'll be hopefully stay in good condition when it is on the way to your house. These are the people that I get to thank for their support today. That's Jacqueline Gosling, Reflection of Perfection, Frank Snyder, Ed, Misimo, Tom Richmond, David Strickler, Megan McInerney, Shane Buckley, Bobby Weigel, Cam Hayden, Rob Wilson, Rod Mead Sperry, Andrew Goldfarb, Casey Ori, and Little Cozy Nostril. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I hope I can keep on earning it with that. Let's get into this. Where am I? What I did recently, just last week, a Don Martin cover, and that Don Martin cover did bonzo at the box office. So I thought, well, I'll double down and I'll do another Don Martin cover. Don Martin, you don't see him that often, except last week and this week. But it's fun. It's cool to see him. His illustrations, I think, look really cool when they're blown up. I don't know. You see them, normally this would be like a fourth of the size, or half the size. How would you say that if this were like down to be like that big? I guess it's half the height and half the width, but it's a quarter of the area. That doesn't matter. Why am I getting hung up on all of that? Anyway, I love it. I love the color. I love the cartooniness. As much as I love Mingo and all those great painters and caricature artists, this is a fun cover. I like it. Last gas for next 200 miles. And he's having gas. Now, this is something, I'm going to go grab something real quick. So what I ran to get is this. For Mad Super Special Summer 1982, it came with the Mad Laugh record. And I think that is just the sound of laughter. Now, I don't have that one. I don't think. These are my Mad records that I have, or the ones that came in an issue. But in case you haven't seen these, they're really freaking cool. It is an actual record, and it would come in the magazine, the Super Special, like this, tucked there in the side, and it was square. But as you can see, there are round grooves, and there's also a hole in it. It's a one-sided record, but as you can see, does good sound effects. It is extremely thin, so they don't hold up to a ton of play, but they're authentic records, and I think it's like one of the coolest inserts that Mad ever offered. Oh, holy smokes! Look, I have a bunch of these. I didn't even. Here's Super Spectacular Day, and then here is Making Out. Oh, I have 2 Making Outs. Fun. But anyway, so if you were not familiar with that, these are the Mad record inserts that they would put into super specials. And there's more than this. Obviously, I have 3. But this is something that they did a number of times, and you should definitely try to get your hands on some of them. All right, I just needed a minute to clean that up. If you want to hear what some of those records sound like, I did make a video where I set up my record player and I played the Mad Makin' Out album, so you can check that out. I'll put it here. Anyway, let's keep going. In the letters department, I just wasted like so much of the episode time with that. This is one of my favorite things, which is the circulation numbers. Now, for magazines, they had to do statement of ownership, management, and circulation. And they had to publish this, their numbers. And so you have things like extent and nature of circulation, the average, and then the single issue nearest to the filing date. So we don't know what issue that was, but these are the numbers. So on average, it's 2,133,610. Those are how many copies are actually printed. Paid circulation, that's, this, sales through dealers, carriers, street vendors, and counter sales. Mail subscriptions, 77,000. So, I mean, decent, but this is when it's doing its downward trend after its peak in the 1970s. Total paid circulation is 1 million. Now, this is, I mean, it's kind of crazy. So it's like half of what they print is not, it's not sold, apparently. I forget how to read this. I've done a whole video about this. Yeah, and here you go. Returns from newsagents. Half of them went unsold, which is kind of interesting, I think. What we have over here is why kill yourself? We have a suicide ad, which, you know, you guys know I love these. Just because you missed the last issues at the newsstand. This is written by Don Edwing and drawn by Paul Coker. What? This is a weird one. This is a pretty bizarre one. But this is what I live for, are those suicide subscription ads. Let's keep chugging along. Now this one, for her thighs only. I think it's like for her eyes only, for somebody's eyes. I think it's eyes only. It's not thighs only. Longtime viewers know I don't spend a ton of time on these because, you know, you have like this whole story and, you know, it's like it takes a while to go through this stuff. But there's a few things that I wanted to point out because this is filled with chicken fat. Just this first panel alone and then going on all throughout. Here we have taxes. That gravestone says death and taxes. The priest has a button that says white collar worker, talking about his Roman collar. In loving memory, Sean Connery, the first and best James Bond, 1962, 1966. Beloved actor now appearing in Outland. Here we have John Pryor. He called Bill Smith a liar. I don't get that one. This one I do get. Owen Moore, gone away, Owen more than he could pay. And then I told you I was sick, but no. And then down here, hidden away, Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror, and Panic. Panic, the only officially approved Mad imitator was Panic. It was Al Feldstein was the editor of that one, and you know, I think that bothered Harvey Kurtzman a little bit. But going through here, there is some other ongoing gags, and that is, here we go. Better bread than red. This is a take on an old, what is it called? Old Cold War saying better red than dead. What am I doing? I'm going to the browser. So better red than dead and the reverse, better dead than red and the reverse, better red than dead, are dueling slogans regarding communism and generally socialism. The former anti-communist slogan, better dead than a communist, and the latter pro-communist slogan, rather a communist than dead. The slogans are interlingual with a variety of variants among them. So red is the emblematic color of communist or communism. So that is the ongoing joke in this. We have in nearly every panel, you have reference to it. Except this panel and this panel and these panels down here. Look at, I'm telling you though, I saw like about a dozen of them. Oh, here we go. Here's better bed than red. Here's better sled than dead. And it goes on and on. Oh, here we have better wed than bed. Better shed than dead. Where else? I thought I had a few more of these that I found. But anyway, I thought it was worth pointing out all of that fun chicken fat for her thighs only by Mort Drucker. Oh, and here you have better dead, better fed. I told you guys. I told you it was all over the place. Hit pause. Read this. One day in a sculptor's studio. All right, you read it. I read it too. It was great. A Mad Report on Progress by Harry North and Lou Silverstone. There's just one that I wanted to look into, highlight a little bit because it's relevant to my life. Old style jeans were comfortable, but they were shapeless, baggy things that always looked like you'd slept in them. Today we have designer jeans. They're skin tight, they don't wrinkle, and they look great. Unfortunately, they're uncomfortable to walk in and impossible to sit down in, but you look fantastic in them if you just stand around. I like jeans. I like skinny jeans, jeans that are, skinny, as the name would imply. And now fashion tells me that wide leg jeans are what I'm supposed to wear. I don't like it. That's all. I don't like progress. Of course, though, it is great to see Harry North, Esquire. If the underworld were allowed to advertise if the underworld and other illegal kinds of operations were allowed to advertise, here we have some Jack Rickard. Wait, right? Yeah, Jack Rickard. Why did I doubt myself? How dare I? There's a lot in this. Was it Arnie Kogan writing? No, writer Frank Jacobs. I wanted to focus in on one part of it, and it was this, The Adventures of Artie. I always enjoy it when you are given cartoons. And Jack Rickard writing like a comic like this is pretty awesome. Sorry, Artie, you don't have enough experience. We've hired someone else. Golly, Gloria, nobody will hire me without experience. What am I going to do? Why not try the Mafia? I hear they got a swell training program. The Mafia, huh? What have I got to lose? I'd like to join up, but I don't have any experience. No sweat, Artie. Here in the Mafia, you earn while you learn. Loan sharking, numbers enforcement. You choose your specialty. Artie, this is Big Phil. He'll show you the ropes. This rope is for strangling, like I'm doing with Sammy the Squealer here. Great. Gee, it's great learning from a real pro. If you're in the mob and your name is Sammy the Squealer, I don't think you're going to last very long. Could be wrong. Next week, Don Carlo, there's an extra 100 in my pay envelope. That's a bonus for last Friday's shakedown. You break arms good, kid. 3 months later, good news, Artie. Big Phil was just rubbed out in a gang war. I'm promoting you to assistant capo. Capo. Golly, a guy really moves up fast in the Mafia. Just look at you, Artie. New clothes, new car, a big pinky ring. You're a success. Thanks to you, Gloria. And the Mafia. And you can be just as successful as me. For a piece of the action, join the Mafia. It's more than just a career. How do you not love that comic strip? You can't. Don't tell me you don't love it, because you do love it. Pause. Read this, Don Martin. This is a classic one. That one, I read that and I was like, instantly remember it. Here's the lighter side of, listen, I know some of you guys like it, but this era especially of the lighter side of it's hard. It's hard to get through. Now, Once again, this week I'm going to be using my psychic abilities. So I'm going to use my psychosis in order to read your mind as the viewer. I need somebody watching now to tell me their birth month. Scorpio. Okay, very good. Let's zoom in on Scorpio. Scorpio, October 24th to November 21st. A good day. An annoying neighbor will cease to bother you as you are evicted in the AM. Improve your personal ties by throwing out the very wide ones with the polka dot prints. Nobody has been wearing them for years. Look for your mailbox to be flooded with letters as someone pours an entire can of alphabet soup in it. What was mine? I wonder if mine's going to be any good. Which one am I? Oh, yeah, Taurus. Your enthusiasm is contagious. So is your rash. So lay off the romantic entanglements. Complete one project before beginning a second. However, it is not necessary to complete one project if you're planning to move directly onto a third. Your grades can improve overnight, providing you write legibly on your arm. All right, there you go. Teach me how to cheat in school. Very good. I love this little Alfred E. Neuman. Looks so great. Here we have a mad look at the idiocy of young athletes who imitate the pros on TV. I'm worried that because of time, I'm not going to get to everything in this issue. So, much as I hate to do this, I think I'm going to have to turn the page on Jack Davis. I know, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. We'll do one. Just one, though. That's all the time we have. Here we go. What about this boxing one? TV teaches young fighters how to celebrate a knockout by raising both arms in triumph, but it does not teach them that different rules apply in the streets, where a defeated opponent can get up again and do severe damage while you're standing there like an idiot with your arms raised. I love this. Sneering. About to reach for that brick. Oh, it's great. Jack Davis is awesome. Slowing down to drink a cup of water, passed along to you by a friend. Maybe a brilliant strategy if you're a big-time runner competing in the marathon. This is an absurd strategy if you're an 8th grader competing in the 100-yard dash. That's going to slow you down, son. You don't want to do that. I feel like this is something I've seen reprinted. Or maybe it's just that sort of boogery child's face that Jack Davis does so well. Oh, I forgot about this. How did I forget when I was just looking at it? Here we have Spy versus Spy. Spy babies. One of the more disturbing things, I've seen before, like the little spy kids, but these are the spy babies. I don't know what else to call them. And it's weird. Oh, yeah, so black spy is eyeing white spy babies milk. All right, so he switches them out. White spy baby puts in a balloon, blows it up. Then the black spy baby steals it. God, these illustrations are so bizarre looking. And drinks the air, and turns into a balloon himself and gets his socks blown off. That's fun. It's weird. It's just very weird seeing the spies as anything other than grown spies, ready to do battle with one another. It's almost like sad in a way that they didn't even have the innocence of childhood. I mean, maybe that's what it is. Maybe this is commentary on how what war does to the children. It steals their innocence, and they make enemies when rather they should be making friends. Yeah. Anyway, how about this? I'm not familiar with these, obviously. Whatever became of. The big craze these days is nostalgia, with many books being written about famous people of the past and what has finally become of them. While in 25 years or so, the famous people of today will be written about in the trivia of tomorrow. So, with this in mind, let's leap ahead in time and peek at one of these books we'll all be reading, namely, Whatever Became of. All right, so let's look at the one that I care about most. No, not Vanessa Redgrave. George Lucas. Here we go. Actually, I think the Vanessa Redgrave one is. Sorry, I just picked my nose like a fucking slob. Uh, hopefully, nobody saw that. In 1992, after completing his 12th Star Wars film, I wish, but in 1992 he had still only done the three. Darth Vader rusts out. George Lucas sunk his entire fortune of $350 million into his 96-hour, 32-part space epic, Glurk, the plot of which dealt with a berserk giant droid who eats planets. The project, requiring movie screens 500 feet in width, flopped, and Lucas was forced to close up shop. Unable to obtain financing for future projects, he is now frozen in a time capsule, planning to wake up in 2091 when, as his instructions state, the world will be a lot more receptive to my incredibly fantastic movie ideas. Yeah, I don't know. I think I got mixed feelings about George. Old Georgie boy. Anyway, how about, nah, we're not going to read about, we're not going to get into politics here. So I'm not going to read about Vanessa Redgraves. Anyway, here we have a mad look at Lousy Kissers. Paul Peter Porges, written and drawn by. Here we have the Waterworks Kisser. Ew. Here we have the Your Nose or Mine Kisser. That's a good solution rather than like go one way or the other, just meet right in the middle. Oh, look at here's George Lucas. The Living Cactus Kisser. The air kisser. The macho kiss. I mean this is a weird concept, right? I think that Paul just wanted to draw a bunch of people smooching. I think that's the clear thing that had happened here. Here we have one day at the federal building. Okay, I'll talk. I'll tell everything. What about my family? Their lives won't be worth a plug nickel once a word gets out that I squealed to the feds. We've already thought of that, Zeddy, and it's all being taken care of. By the time you leave this building, you and your family will have completely new identities. Do you love this? Everybody talks about the feet, but I love this thing that they do sometimes. Right? Like this. I love that with the hands. I think I'm going to start walking around like that. Here I have some Paul Coker Jr. messing with some statistics. It's pretty easy to alter the odds of a survey to get the answers wanted. Even blindfolded, 7 out of 10 people picked Coca-Cola. In a recent taste test, kids preferred Gold Humor ice cream, 9-1 over the competition. Free ice cream. Anyway, it is pretty important to do this. This is Matt's do-it-yourself comedy routine. So as such, though, I'm going to do this so that it looks like I'm doing stand-up comedy. And we'll see if I can do this. I'm just going to pick them randomly. All right. So if this isn't good, play Mad Magazine. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And wait, I already fucked it up. Wait, number 4? Oh, I started at the wrong spot. That's right. Okay. Good evening, ladies and germs. A very funny thing happened to me on my way over here from the store where I just bought this suit made out of recycled lint. A bum came up and asked me to call him a taxi. So I said, "Take my wife, please." But seriously, friends, I just arrived in your fine city after 3 wonderful weeks of playing in Las Vegas on the upper floors of a sorority house. During that engagement, I ran into an old high school classmate who praised me for endorsing Brotherhood Week, even though I'm not Jewish. Believe me, when I was younger, nobody would even dream of, wait, shit. Speaking of that, what do you think about all those sex change operations? Believe me, when I was younger, nobody would even dream of showing up at a girl's house naked on the first date. As you may know, I grew up in a family of sanitary engineers. Any other garbage men out there? I'll never forget the first girl I dated. She was so fat in our graduation picture, she was the whole front row. Now I've grown a little older. I'm just thankful that Alan King hasn't sued me for stealing his monologue. Say, here's a joke for you. A fella goes to a psychiatrist and says, "Doc, I imagine I'm a rabbit." So the psychiatrist says, "I wasn't signaling for a turn. I was just drying my nail polish. How come nobody's laughing at this material?" I know you're out there because I hear you breathing. Incidentally, before I finish my act, I've been asked by several of you to add a little class to this routine by doing some gay Polish jokes. But what I'd really like to do is leave you with a bit of wisdom that was passed on to me by Sammy Davis Sr. When I told him I was going into show business, he just smiled and said, "Don't rub your greasy hands all over the doorknob." I hope you'll remember that as I have. Thank you and God bless. Written God bless. Well, thank you and God bless. Anyway, that was pretty good. I love these. These are like one of my favorite things that Mad Magazine ever does. With that, we have Family Feud done by, who is this done by? It's not Mort Drucker. It's Angelo Torres, of course. And it's looking great. But I'm sorry, Angie, we don't have time. I can't fit that in. Of course, this is unfolded because this magazine was owned by a man of culture. And finishing off with some classic suicide humor by Sergio Aragones. She comes in, about to hang from the rafters, and no. You gotta vacuum that up first. With that, you guys, remember, hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. Toodaloo.